Hello and welcome everyone to another Fantasy Premier League video. My name is Mo and this is my channel FPL Inkling. Welcome back if you've been here before, and I'd like to welcome you if this is your first time to my channel. Giving you a bit of background about who I am, what this channel is and what I'm going to do. So this channel is designed for all Fantasy Premier League managers to get the best content and to get some insight into this season, stats, and how I can help you guys become the best manager in this game and give you guys some insight to make your hard decisions even easier. So before we begin, we're going to go through the usual. If you've been to my channel before, as I said, thank you for coming back. And if it's first time, I'm going to welcome you. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button, what a better opportunity than now to hit that lovely subscribe button and be part of the FPL Inkling family. I want to thank everyone who's joined recently and all your kind comments. Honestly, it's really refreshing, it's really positive, and it kind of encourages me to continue making this content for you guys, to allow you guys to firstly plan your season ahead, and I can help you to make your squads even stronger. And in addition, if you like this video, you know what to do. Hit that lovely thumbs icon that you see on your screen, and if you want to get the latest notifications for my content, which I promise you I will be releasing on a regular basis, all you've got to do is hit that notifications icon bell and the rest will take care of itself. So let's get started, and I want to continue on with my club by club guide to this FPL season 2021-2022. I'm moving on to the club of Leeds. Leeds' second season back in the Premier League, and I've got to say their first season was an absolute masterclass. Bielsa, I salute you. I hadn't really followed him much. I knew about him. I've heard about his man management, tactical. He was fabulous. He made Leeds look such a good squad, not only just to the eye, but also in terms of FPL assets as well. It's very easy to see a team and you think, on the eye they're great. They really make you feel that these guys are good FPL players, but they don't actually replicate it on the game level. But he managed to do both levels. Firstly, he didn't rotate much. He kind of gave you a clear sight, a clear vision of who he's going to play week in, week out, and what his kind of tactics is going to be, and which players the team kind of revolved around and got the best out of them as well. So in terms of Leeds itself, I'm going to have an absolute pleasure making this video. And you know what? There's going to be so many players that I'm going to say get in your squad, and there might be the odd one that I might say, it's worth seeing how they get along in the first 5 game weeks, see how they line up, see how they set up, and see if it's worthwhile playing him in the position which they are. So I'll give you an example. For example, Stuart Dallas, he's had a change of position. So last season, he was an absolute joy for all managers. He was a high-scoring defender, more points than Trent Alexander-Arnold, more points than Andy Robertson, more points than Luke Shaw, Lucas Diaz, Kyle Walker, Zinchenko. Furthermore, players that I can think of, in the game. If we look at it from a perspective of wing backs, Van Bissaka. They really shone last season. So we're going to go through them as well. In terms of the midfield, we always talk about Leicester having the gems, Everton, Aston Villa with Grealish. But do you know what? Jack Harrison and Rafinha were also absolute stalwarts last season. So as always, we're going to start from the back. So we'll start from the goalkeeper himself now. Forgive me if I get his pronunciation wrong. It's kind of like a tongue twister for me, but I'll give it a shot. It's Ilyan Meslier. I think I got that right, but do you know what? I ask for forgiveness if I've made an error. So let's go through some background stats around him and what it's looking like so far from the managers that have registered for this game. It's almost 1 million managers already, so that's a good start. I think that will go up as the days now go by. And in addition, once the Euro Fantasy finishes, I think managers will focus more along the FPL game itself. So we'll start to see these ownerships change. They will go up, they'll fluctuate, or they may go down as well. So let's just do what we have at the moment, and I'll go through some underlying stats from last season as well. So at the moment, he's owned by 6% of managers. He's had a price increase, so he's gone up from 4.5 to 5 mil. Now, I can understand the reasoning behind it because he did get 154 points last season, which was a really good performance. But yet again, for a Leeds goalkeeper who are kind of like leaky, they do concede goals. Last season, they conceded 52. Will that increase? Will they manage to kind of like hold on to clean sheets this season? Or will they be absolutely the same as last season? It's yet to be seen, but I can assure you of one thing. They will certainly attack. So, 154 points last season, as I mentioned. So let's go through his stats of what he got per game. So Meslier kind of achieved 4.4 points per game. If you compare that to someone like a Jordan Pickford, who's the England goalkeeper, he got 3.74. So he has done well. He had 11 clean sheets. and he did get 20 bonus points. Now that is huge, for a goalkeeper to achieve that many bonus points. That's a real asset for you to have in your team as well. So in terms of shot stopping, 140 saves, and I did mention that per 3 saves you do get a point. But obviously, if you've got like 5 points, 5 saves in a game, that will only qualify as a 1 point. But again, that's several points that he's captured over the season just from saves itself. So he does make direct saves, and he does concede. But if you look at it from that kind of statistical number where he's made 140 saves and only conceded 52, he hasn't really done that badly. So me personally, I'm not looking at him for now, but we can go through some of the fixtures that Leeds do have, and I'll tell you why he's not kind of on my radar. I have favoured Sanchez, but he may be putting off some managers initially. But obviously, there's a wild card draft. There's normal substitutions. People may have a long-term plan or a short-term or a medium-term plan to get him into their squad. So they start off at United at Old Trafford. United generally haven't been great at Old Trafford for the last couple of seasons, especially opening fixtures as well. So they lost to Tottenham a few seasons ago. They lost to, I think last season it was Crystal Palace. They lost 3-1 at home. So it's going to be an exciting fixture. This is one of the fixtures that all fans from United and Leeds look forward to. There's old school rivalry, and I think this will be, it won't be a dull game. I'll probably put the mockers or the jinx on it now, but it probably won't be a 0-0. I think it was like 6-2 last season at Old Trafford. But for me, he's got Everton following that. But then he does see a few better fixtures. So obviously Liverpool in game week 4. But he's got Burnley, at game week 3. And then following on, if you look all the way to game week 10, it's mostly green followed by the odd grey. So you've got Newcastle away, West Ham at home. And after that, I think that's a real nice run after. So you've got Watford at home, Southampton away, Wolves at home, and Norwich away. So there's quite a few fixtures there where I can think he can capture some really solid points for you straight up. And he's a goalkeeper that if you do decide to put him in your squad, I don't think you need to worry about changing him throughout the season. He's probably going to be picked once, and then you can literally just forget about him and let him build your squad value. Let him build your squad value, because I think he's a fabulous goalkeeper. And he had his moments last season where he had hiccups. But he's young, it's his first season in the Premier League, he's probably finding his feet. And I think, this year he will kind of perform better. I think he'll probably get around the same amount of points, I think. But you never know, he could get a bit more as well. So that is Meslier for you guys. Moving on to number 2, we'll start from the defenders. So their highest scoring defender based on how the players are kind of registered now, because Dallas obviously has gone to midfielders, and do you know what? He still is the highest scoring player for them in terms of midfield as well. He wasn't their highest overall scoring player. That was Bamford. But let's go through some stats of Luke Ayling, I don't know how we pronounce that one. He's owned by 10% of managers, so he's got quite a high ownership, and I guess that's to do with the fact that he's a regular player. He plays for Leeds, he'll get minutes. And he comes at a decent price. He got 100 points last season. Again, 12 clean sheets, 100 points. And points per game, he was looking at 2.65 points. But, that's like a good amount to me personally. A bit low, slightly, but for a 4.5 defender, you've got 100 points. I think you've done well. If you've got 5 million defenders, 5.5, they're achieving around 120 points mark. So for $500,000, if you've lost out on 20 points for a defender, I'm sure you can make that up in your midfield or strike force with that extra funds that you have saved in terms of a defender. So I personally haven't got him in any of my drafts at the moment, but if I'm looking to go for a cheap budget defensive kind of a draft, then he is one of the 4.5 mil regular defenders, along with Connor Cody, Jamal Lascelles from Newcastle. These are the kind of players that I will be keeping a close eye on. Cool. So let's move on now to the midfield. So we're going to talk about the highest scoring midfielder, defender last season, but midfielder of this season, who was Stuart Dallas. Now, he was the kind of Lundstrom equivalent last season for the season before. Registered as a defender rather than a midfielder, and managers really kind of reap the benefit from there. He has gone up in price to 5.5 mil, which I think is a fair price considering how he performed last season. 8 goals, 3 assists. Do I expect that to change? He might not get as many assists and goals this season. He could get the same, you never know. He could get more. But I think, he might not get as many points this season, solely with the fact that he's registered as a midfielder. So I think that 170 could potentially come around the 140, 130 mark. But, there's players out there who are obviously injury prone and may not play the whole season. Like, Zaha, Madison, Harvey Barnes, who were injury hit last season. They are injury prone. James Rodriguez, other examples that play probably less minutes, but will probably get around that much in terms of points. So you're looking at it from that perspective. You're saving a million, 1.5 mil, in some cases £2 million, but you're going to probably get the same points amount, and he's a regular starter. That's why he makes him a proposition. So attractive for if you want to play him in your first lineup. He's attractive prospect, but he's also a good prospect to have on the bench. So if you do invest your funds into players from from City or like other places like United, from midfielders who have a risk of rotation, for example, Diego Jota, Mason Greenwood, etc., then you've got players like Stuart Dallas to kind of come in and strengthen your squad and allow you to kind of get 11 players who will get you points week in, week out. So his points per game, so I can look at that as 4.52, which is very impressive. And if you can keep up those numbers, as I said, then he's certainly worth your investment. And already people are trusting him. Almost 20% of ownership. That's really high. And Leeds know how to play one way and one way only under Meslier. Meslier at the back, and Ayling and Dallas in the defensive line, and then obviously you've got the forward line itself. So they will be set up by their manager Bielsa to attack. Stuart Dallas may be that player that can replicate his form from last season, but if you look at it from a perspective of John Lundstrom from previous seasons, it hasn't gone so well when players have changed positions on the FPL games. But that's yet to be seen. But for me, I do understand people who have backed him, and I expect a strong season from him this season. Moving on now to the next point. So this is my star recommendation. So as I said, I've been given star recommendations in all my team analysis, and why not? It's going to be Rafinha. So Rafinha is kind of like the hidden gem who kind of really caught light and really caught kind of like miles and gains in the second half of the season last season. So he played around 2,358 minutes. So he didn't play week in, week out. So he got 10 assists and 6 goals with 133 points. He's actually owned by 26.7% of managers already. So he's a top favourite of many managers and experts who have kind of given their backing and full confidence to him. So let's look at his stats. He was averaging 5.07 points per game. So for 6.5 mil, I still think it's an absolute bargain. I was expecting him to be minimum 7. At some points I did think he might be even registered at 7.5. But I think they've been quite generous here, and the price is extremely fair for a player of his calibre. Set pieces, he's on there. Maybe you can get you some additional points there, and that's going to be something we can really cash in on. The next player I'm going to go for is going to be the star man himself up front, Mr. Patrick Bamford. What a season last season. He had his critics from the Championship who've seen him year in, year out. But you know what? He's done a fabulous job. He's on penalties, so Leeds United, if they do get the penalties, he's on there. He's a safe bet. He's pretty good on the spot. 16.7% of managers are already kind of backing him. 8 mil in price, so he has gone up 1.5 mil this season. He got 194 points last season, so we can't overlook that. He must be on manager radars. The prices are quite, consistent across the forward line. Obviously, barring Harry Kane, who's standing up front with 12.5 mil, followed by Vardy at 10.5, and then Aubameyang around 10 mil. But around the Watkins 7.5, Antonio, Wilson, these kind of players are around 7.5, and you've got Calvert-Lewin at 8, and then you've got Bamford at 8 as well. So you've got a good choice to really kind of decide if you want to go premium with Kane along with Bamford, or if you want to play the 3 up front where you go for like an Ivan Toney as a cheaper option with Bamford, Watkins, and the other choices that you have like Iheanacho and Calvert-Lewin. So as I mentioned, 17 goals, 11 assists. So he had 28 returns, and he was the highest scoring player in terms of points and points per game, which was 5.72. So I will back him. At the moment, I've got him in my draft. I'm thinking of keeping him. He does have some strong fixtures up front, but you know what? He doesn't let players down, and he's always there for the team. I think he got an assist last season against Man City, and at half-time due to a red card, he got substituted to change the formation. Proper team player. And they held on for a victory at the Etihad against the odds. So that's Patrick Bamford, you guys. You can kind of overlook him for the first 2 game weeks, as they are tough fixtures. But, with the first 10 fixtures, I think Leeds do generally kind of have a good run after those 2 games. And I'd rather get him in up front and kind of reap the benefits if he does go big in the first couple of games. So that's Leeds for you guys. That's my analysis of the whole team. There may be some transfers that come in later over the coming weeks. So, I may make videos that will have like new signings or new prospects that I think, can shine in this game. But for now, with the players that are registered, these are the kind of players that I thought, will be the most high in demand and who I think you should or shouldn't have in your draft. So let me know what you think. Have I gone through the players that you wanted to go through? Have I missed a player that you were looking at from Leeds United? Let me know. You can put comments in my comment section. My social media is down below, so you can actually contact me on any of those platforms. Why not join the league? Join the FPL Inklink League. The league code is right at the bottom left. Be part of the league itself. Let's have a fantastic league overall, and may the best manager win. And in addition, if you like this video, you guys know what to do now. The same old drill. Hit that like button and subscribe. Why haven't you subscribed? I'd love to see you being my subscriber on my channel, and also hit the notification icon to get those late notifications for when I do drop my content on YouTube itself. So if you've liked it, you hit that like button and you be part of the family by subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'll come back with some more content. Until then, stay tuned, stay happy, and make sure you guys choose your squads wisely before that deadline on the 13th of August, which is a Friday, in a couple of weeks' time. Get your squads in by that 6:30 deadline, and I'll see you guys soon.